Shalom. Call all Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. We're going to give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who were well, who taught me this truth. And peace and blessings be to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Yashar Gabar, back to you again with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So Lord willing, this lesson be edifying to the elect. All right. And just speaking on a few things. All right. Speaking on Esau, Edom. All right, and pretty much a lot of you coon niggas, man. You know, here it is, so-called year 2025. All right, and you still have Jake worshiping JC. You know, a lot of you niggas just coons, man. All right, you love the so-called white man. All right, who's your enemy? All right, who's the devil? You know, deceiver. Right, deceive the whole world. All right, and a lot of you Jakes just have Stockholm syndrome, man. You know. All right, here it is, you in captivity. Matter of fact, let's just look that up. This word, Stockholm Syndrome, man. What is Stockholm Syndrome? Let's see, Stockholm Syndrome is a psychological copying mechanism that can develop in victims of captivity, all right? And a lot of you Jakes don't even believe that you're in captivity. All right, but pursuant to what? The book of Baruch, all right? And we yet this day in our captivity, all right? So it says, or abused, a Jake being shot down, killed, hung, slaughtered in the streets. And what? It says, causing them to identify with the developed positive feeling towards their captors, all right? Yeah, and then who captured you, man? All right, who has you in captivity? Who's in rulership? All right, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. You know, and this is what Jake has right here, Stockholm Syndrome, man. You know, you've been beaten, or you've been captive. You know, you've been hung, slaughtered in the streets, and Jake still have this positive feelings. All right, this is what a lot of you Jakes still worship JC have, man. You know. All right, here it is. Brothers tell you, the so-called, the white man is the devil. All right, you come against that, or it lets you know that the Lord is a so-called black man from the tribe of Judah. Hey, they don't want to hear that either. You know, they want to stick to Cesar Bozir. You know, JC. All right. And therefore, Esau, he always show you who he is, who he truly is, man. All right, when the scriptures tell you to do what. So let's grab this. Let's get into these scriptures. The book of Sirach. Let me make sure. Yeah, the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verses 10. It says, never trust thy enemy, for like iron rusteth, so his wickedness. All right, never trust your enemy. All right, Jake don't want to believe he have an enemy, man. All right, but Jay, your enemy is the so-called white man. All right, Esau, Edom. You know, that's who's against you. That's who have you in captivity. You know, that's who's shooting Jake down the streets. You know, locking Jake up. You know, persecuting Jake, man. You know. And this is your enemy, all right? But this is the person you trust, all right? Look at his history, all right? Look what he's done to you, all right? Look what he's done to the family, all type of shit, man, all right? This is why you in ghettos, why you worshiping JC. You know, they don't want to look at the bigger picture, all right? Because they so warm-hearted, you know, for the so-called white man. And this is why whenever brothers speak on, you know, how all these nations going to go in captivity. All right, Jake, just worry about the so-called white man. All right, he worry about Esau, Edom, man. All right, that's the only person he cares about. So, hey, you Jakes, hey man, hey, you're going to be destroyed, man. All right, the scripture says, "What no hand joining hand, the wicked should not be unpunished." All right. And you want to hold hands with this devil, or you're going to get taken down with him, all right? You're going to die. You're going to be put to death here in America, man. All right? If you don't come up out of that shit. So it says, never trust thy enemy, for like iron rust is so his wickedness. You know? So yeah, he play it cool. You know, he's trying to act like he's friendly. Matter of fact, let's just go down to verse 11. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed of him and be aware of him, thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. Yeah. So yeah, he go humble himself. All right, he acting like he's so positive, you know, that he's your brother, and like he really fuck with you. All right, but hey, at the end of the day, you know, he's a devil, you know. Hey, you're gonna see that hey, he hasn't changed, you know. The scripture says what this devil has a perpetual hatred. All right. So and therefore, hey, you can't trust. All right, Esau Edom. All right, trying to be buddy with him. Hey, you'll learn quick. All right, at the jobs. All right, see a devil get in a position. All right, yeah, switch up. You know, you can't trust his media. All right, his news programs and shit. You know, everything's it be a lie. All right, you know. So let's grab this. Ezekiel chapter 35, verse 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity and in the time their iniquity had it in. You know, so hey, this devil, he has a perpetual hatred. The so-called white man has a perpetual hatred towards you Israelites. All right, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. All right, you see what he's doing today, all right? Dealing with the northern tribe, all right, with his ICE. You know, trying to, he's killing, all right, you Jakes, man. All right? You know, locking you up in shackles, all right? Whole time throwing, Hispanics off the planes and all type of shit, man, going on behind the scene that you don't even know of. All right, but it's happening right here in your face, man. All right? But it's back to the point. It says had a perpetual hatred. All right, meaning an everlasting hatred. All right, so hey, this devil, he's not going to change. You know, that's why you can see these devils try to go into the churches, acting like they just so holy, worshiping JC. All right, but they still hate you. You know, they're not going to change. You know, hey, this is an everlasting hatred, man. All right. You know, and shed the blood of the children of Israel. You know, well, hey, this devil know, all right, that this is our punishment. He know, hey, you Israelites supposed to be getting right, turning to your power. You know, but hey, he try to keep you away from that. You know, he's trying to keep you not knowing who you are. You know, what the scripture says, what they made a covenant. You know, they come together to cut you off from being a nation. All right. So, and this is the spirit of Esau Edom. All right, this is the devil. So, how can you trust someone like this, man? All right, how can you trust? All right, his medicine. All right, the things he tell you, his philosophy, man. All right. So, let's see. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity. All right. Hey, man, shooting Jake down, you know, shooting the kids, all type of shit, man, by the force of the sword. All right, look what he did to the Native Americans. All right. You know, backstab. All right. So how can you trust someone like this, man? Any of you niggas speaking up for the so-called white man, you a fucking coon, man. All right, you're going to be destroyed right along with him. So, let's see. The book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 3. It says, the wicked is estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Yeah, from the womb, man. All right, just in him, all right? There's no good in him, man. All right, from the womb, all right, he's a devil. I done seen plenty of videos of little girls lying on Jake. You know, it just sent him. I didn't grew up. All right, like damn, like hey, where this spirit come from? All right, even though they probably been taught this shit. You know, but just from the womb, just speaking lies, all right, being a fucking devil, all right, being a deceiver, you know? So, yeah, and who's the wicked, all right? The wicked, Esau, Edom, all right? All right, so let me see, speaking lies. Matter of fact, let's get this. Of your father. Because this is where you Jakes get it from. Alright? Being murderers and all this shit, man. Alright, where do you think Jake get it from? So let's get this. John chapter 8, verse 44. It says, "Ye are your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abide not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it." Yeah, so hey, this is how Esau Edom's coming, man. All right, this is how the devil coming. This is where you get it from. All right, that's why the scripture said, "Well, you are your father the devil," you know, and the lust of your father you will do. Well, he was a murderer, all right, abide not in the truth, going all the way back to the garden, all right, being a liar, a deceiver, all the way back to Cain, you know, being a murderer, man. All right? It says, abide not in the truth, because there's no truth in him, all right? There's no truth in him, man. All right, there's nothing right in him. Matter of fact, let's move on. Let's get this. Not that. Matter of fact, let's skip to this. All right? There's no truth in him, man. So let's grab this. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 15. It says, "That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanted cannot be numbered." Yeah, so that which is crooked cannot be made straight, man. All right? Hey, this devil, he can't be made straight. He can't be positive. He can't be good. All right? Because there is no good in him. All right? There's no truth in him. There's no good in him. Nothing. All right? He's a base man. All right? In fact, let's go into this word crooked. It's a quick Google search. In fact, let's go back up. Let's go back. Let's go up in here. It says dishonest. Something else. A person that is dishonest or a criminal. All right, and that's Esau Edom. You know, that's the so-called white man for you, man. All right. So it says that which is crooked cannot be made straight. All right. Yeah. There's no, you can't overlook this devil, man. You know, he's trying to be buddy with you. You know, but that's how a serpent moves. You know, subtile. So let's see. And let's end it off with this. The book of Sirach, chapter 14, verse 5. It says, "He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He should not take pleasure in his goods." You know, so he that is evil to himself, all right? You know, hey, this devil, he doesn't care, you know. Whatever he has to do, all right, to get further in life, you know, and he's going to rape, rob, murder, all right? You know? And he's evil to himself, all right? You see, you know, these lower-level Edomites, right? They don't care, you know? They're backstabbing each other, you know, trying to see who's going to get the inheritance, you know, who's going to rule next. You know, they don't care, man. You know, they're evil to themselves, you know? So who will he be good? Speaking on what, hey, you Israelites, all right? You know, hey, who will he be good to, man? You know, if he's doing this shit to himself, all right, and he doesn't care about his own people, you know how much more, all right, with you niggas, man, all right? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans that trust in this devil, you know, that worship, JC, you know, blue-eyed, blonde hair that y'all love. You know, all that unclean shit, man. You know, so he'll do this shit to his own people, his own self. All right, how much more? All right, with you so-called blacks, all right, Hispanics, you know, coming down on Jake, alligator, prisons and shit, you know, coming for you, you Hispanics, you tribes, and pretty soon by the come for you Haitians, you know. So, hey, you can't trust in this devil, man. All right, the Lord is showing you day to day, all right, how much more. Yeah, you can't trust him. Showing you who's the devil is, man. So, I'm ending it off with that. Giving all praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Give double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Lord, in this video was edifying. Till next time, say shalom.